Hello, Warriors. Let's have a great week. Everyone in chat, give me a Y if you're ready to have a good week. All right. So the two big events this week, I would say, would be GDP, and for us currency traders, going to be the ECB meeting this week. So before we get into any analysis, and those two events will be overshadowed by the Fed next week and the non-farm payrolls the week after this. Those are really going to be key events. I think they'll make GDP, which a lot of people are already looking for a pretty weak number, up 0.5, 0.6, under 1%. Delta variant, being part of that. But, I want to address something that, my analysis could be good and my ideas could be good, but you know what? This is also a job, right? And, it's not, I don't do this for entertainment. I'm not saying I don't find it stimulating and, a pretty exciting thing to do to try and figure out the jigsaw puzzle and then all the nuances. But I want to talk about money management. So if you go back, and I know if you guys watch the videos here on YouTube or you're here in the chat room, you'll know that I was bearish the oil market last week, right? And so you could say, well, Dale, God, you were wrong. Look, we're at new highs right now, okay? But if you go back, so what I want to talk about is partial profits and then taking the risk out of the trade. And just want to just go over what was posted, entries, stops, take partial profits type of things that happen, which show you if you use good money management, even if you're on the wrong side of a longer term trend, that markets, when they range or look like they're topping, you could still do okay. So, last week it was Sunday night, I put on a piece and, that was early, but the stop was never elected. And we had a pretty nice break, right? From, what was this high? 83, 85 down. So 200 pip break. So, there were pips, all right? There were at least 50 to 100 pips on this first sell, okay? And what you do is you take partial profits on that and then trail your stop to break even. And you made money on half your position. You broke even on the other half. Okay, so here we're here, and I was anticipating another new high to come, and I took a shot here. And this was a nice little range from 356 to, so that was about 180 pips from here to here. And if you have an entry in oil or euro or IBM, if you have this kind of lead on a trade and you're not ringing the register, I advise you, or almost say, please try it. It will change your performance. So, okay, so there was money made, and then the BE stop got taken out. And then I saw it up here again, tried it again. This was an even bigger range to the downside. And this is in a market that's making new highs today, right? So, 83, the high of that 83.70 down to, this was 300 pips right here. Okay, I didn't capture them all, half. All right, then BE stop took me out of my other half of position. And then I had limit orders and I got short at 360 and I missed the 84 sale on Friday. And we had Thursday, and we had this big break from new highs, still diverging. So, kept me in trying it, attempting it, probing and protecting. Probing and protecting. You protect by taking some of the risk off, especially great when you're in profits to take some of the risk off, and then you take all of the risk out of the trade by, after partials being collected, getting paid, You then take the rest of the risk out of the trade by going to BE on your stop. I know it's not a market stop, and there are times that my BE stop will be elected and then the market would have gone my way. But that's fine. I already took half. Okay. And there's always another bus around the corner. If you can de-risk as soon as possible, you can have more longevity as a trader, because I don't care if you're Superman and you're mentally tough. I've seen the toughest guys in the world in the trading pits in Chicago that can get ground down. You can get ground down by the constant, pressure of having to be right and manage risk. I'm not saying this is an easy thing. In fact, look at all the gray hair I have. I'm only 35, right? You guys attest to me being 35 in the room? So maybe trading took a little toll on me. Okay, so if I hadn't have done that, right, at all these different entry prices and booked something, so let's say I only took 50 out on 4 trades, the whole week would have been for nothing. And you know what? To me now, and I've always had an awareness of it, but I'll ask people, what's your most valuable currency? And people say, well, it's gold, it's better than fiat, it's Bitcoin, it's better than gold. And I say your most valuable currency is your time. Okay, because pips come and go, money comes and goes, time is gone forever. All right, so if I just wasted a week, it wasn't that I didn't make money that week. That week is gone. So if you start taking partial profits, okay, if you start taking partial profits, you're going to have different performance in your account. So write it down. If you're not doing it, I will begin to take partial profits on half of my position at a certain determined amount of profits going into the trade. And then I'm going to pull my stop down to BE. Okay, because part of what we do here at TradeGATEHub is to teach, not just a supply analysis, because you know what? If you're just coattailing me on the trades or on ideas or anyone else, oh, look, we're getting a nice little reversal candle in crude. I thought I'd be stopped out. Maybe tonight. That if you don't know the whys, and say you're following a guy who's really hot, we have a few hot traders in here, and money's starting to, drop into your account, but you don't know the whys or the hows of those trades, you're going to be dependent upon that trader. So do yourself a favor and learn to become independent of everyone, dependent on no one in making your trading decisions. It doesn't mean that you don't follow other people's work and do your own intelligence gathering to give you a narrative or a bias to trade off of. I'm a big believer in communities, that you could be a more successful trader in a community than you can in your missile silo alone. And that don't isolate, collaborate. And we have a great platform for you to do it. It's free. Maybe you think it's not great because we're giving it away. Well, we do well in, other aspects of the business that we could provide this service. It's like a public service for people that want to learn how to trade and have ideas, and it doesn't cost them anything to be there. We're not asking you to subscribe to anything. All right, so come down here, and if you're a good trader, I'd love to have you here and meet you, and I could interview you for the community. I could bring you on. We could talk about what you're looking at on times when Michael and I aren't streaming. You can be posting in our main chat and make this a mastermind. That's a very powerful thing where you add 1 + 1 = 11. when you put the right two people or group of people together. It's more powerful than people individually on their own. All the big traders, famous traders, they all have mastermind meetings with their analysts. You know, Ray Dalio talks about it. People always intelligence gather and bring in great minds to share their viewpoints and coalesce into a narrative for the desks to trade on. Okay, so all right, let's get to the markets. ECB, Euro came in under pressure today. You know, I have a hard time wanting to short it here, and it gets back to the Dixie. You know, Dixie, I thought early in the last week that I wasn't impressed with this being such an obvious level at 93.50. And, you know, they may have looked for stops for the pigeons that put their stops pip under a low. Something else I teach. Don't do that. Don't put your stops a pip under swing lows or short-term lows. You're just fodder and bait for stop hunts. You ever hear of a stop hunt? You know, so they happen. Let your trades breathe. But this candle puts it into doubt. You know, it looks to me like this is a range here. I still think there's a shot for 93.5 to be taken out. That would measure 92.50. It's a 100-point formation. But, you know, currency wise, I'm thinking a way to kind of have a little bit of a bullish bias in the euro rather than, you know, buying it against the dollar. I'm looking here at euro pound. Okay, so, you know, it's been a long-term bear market, right? But I look at this chart pattern here, and if I go all the way back to here, it does look like a 3. So, you know, this may be the best way to attempt some type of bottom pick in euro because, you know, the pound has been, you know, pretty much on a tear, but capped at some resistance here while the euro's been under pressure. So I'm thinking that the way to, you know, maybe instead of bottom picking the euro, bottom pick euro pound. And, you know, could also, you know, take a shot. I have, you know, 55 pip stops in from here. I'm long from here. I could be stopped out. We'll see. But that's the way I want to go into the ECB, is trying to bottom pick this and give it some tolerance. My stops are well under 84. Yen, I thought that we'd have some more follow through to the downside. You know, we still can. You know, I think that this line, if we get back down here to this level or even above it, it'd be more bullish if the yen. I don't think this is the top. It's a top. Talked about it last week with the divergences that we had up here, a little 3 drive to a top formation. Just like the dollar, this still looks vulnerable to me to trade under 113 and maybe check out this breakout. I mean, this was a you know, pretty big event on huge volume. It's like, you know, these weren't technicians trading off candlesticks when you have a move like we had in the end that just blew through this wedge line up here. So, you know, this was pretty powerful. And even though we're pulling back, you know, look at the momentum. You know, that's too much mode to think it's a final high. I do think that I'd be interested in trying the long side down here and look for one more push above this 114. What was the high? 1470, maybe up to 1660 or so. And then I think, you know, we'll have a more durable and position type short opportunity, which ties in with yields. You know, they pulled back. You could say the trend is up, but you know, can't this be a failing rally from, you know, if we go to a weekly and at least get a pullback to, you know, maybe the 148 level? I know a lot of people are saying 2% a layup, so the contrarian thing would be, you know, some type of pullback in here which might help NASDAQ out a bit. So that covers most of the things I'm looking at currency. One other thing I just want to put out there, and I talked about it last week, and it was the 3 drive to a bottom formation in Canada. And, even though, I had Mark Chandler on, and Mark said, Canada is not a petrocurrency, but I showed this 3 drive to a bottom, and a lot of people do trade a correlation with oil. And Canada came out of this 3 drive, acted pretty good. It was a very nice trade. You just went with the glaring divergence here. And today, crude's making new highs, right? Crude's making new highs.